Hello all. Welcome back to another little art talk kind of situation. For those that don't know, I'm Fortuitous, a fantasy illustrator and comic artist that is 3 months into posting a webcomic alongside my wife called Cycles. It's an epic queer fantasy comic all about mortals, gods, and how their actions create and break, you guessed it, cycles. Roll the credits. For better or for worse, for the world and the relationships that they are trying to build and break. Yeah. Before I begin, I wanted to preface this whole thing with, yeah, the title is a little bit clickbaity. We're not going to delete the whole thing, so don't worry about that. I'm just being a little stinker over here. Things are gonna be, we're gonna change some things up maybe, but yeah, we're not gonna go ahead and like delete everything. I ultimately think that we are doing a great job, especially for this being our first major like project push that we're doing. We're both enjoying the process. We're seeing the read, like, and subscribe counts like going up, and like, I don't know, it's just so cool to see that like you guys really like the story that we're trying to tell. And yeah, also really quickly, while I was actually writing the script for this, I wanted to point out that somehow, somewhere, I guess I don't know what happened, because we went from like 70 subscribers on Webtoons and now we're at like 141 subscribers, and our total likes shot up. Our like monthly page reads has like shot up. I'm like, it's only the beginning of August and it's already like at like 800 some odd page reads. You know, I'm used to like getting like around maybe 300 ish to like approaching 400. And so yeah, so I don't know what happened, but yeah, if you're new to the story and from that wave and you're running into this YouTube, thank you. Let me know how you found it, please. I don't know what happened, but yeah. Anyways, just something funny and cool that happened right as I was trying to plan out and plot for this video. All right, now that all of that is out of the way, we are 3 months into posting Cycles, and I feel like we're running into a few problems, and a lot of those are of my own creation, sort of. You know, there's a lot of nuance in this. Again, I'm going to preface all of this with like, I don't know if what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling is correct, right? These are all just things that like, looking at whatever little stats that I can grab onto and like rereading it myself and stuff like that. Just some things that we're running into, as well as myself like drawing the comic wise. We're also going to get into a little bit of the issues that I've found there. So yeah, if I had a time machine, these are the things that I would do differently. All right, so the main thing that I kind of want to discuss today, there's going to be 3, but this is the one that the title is made after, if you will. I think we need a better hook. And by that I mean the prologue kind of situation with the comic. It's about 5 pages, and like, it's just not quite like hitting in the way that I thought it would, that we thought it would. So my wife and I both love spooky, mysterious, ethereal beginnings to stories, but after discussing and looking at everything, I think we've pretty much both come to the realization that, you know, our current beginning leaves so much empty space. There's no hook other than, hey, who is this spooky guy? What is he doing floating in this weird, like, space void situation with this giant glowing tree thing? Now, we think that's cool, right? But, you know, yeah, no, there's a little bit lacking there. Um, while we both like that, I don't think that is good enough for a general readership because I know what's happening. She knows what's happening, but it doesn't really hold the reader's attention and making them want to learn more about what's happening. It also doesn't quite set the mood for the story that we are currently trying to tell either. Like, what I mean by that is, to me, it doesn't really feel like it sets the reader up to know what they're getting into. So, for instance, yes, it deals with gods, the divine, weird, mysterious, like timey-wimey, cyclical kind of things, and that's kind of like what the beginning kind of like shows and tries to depict. But there's just so much left in the air that I don't know if people are really going to catch on nor get a feel for what they have to look forward to in the story, right? So yeah. We also have stats that seem to kind of back up this suspicion of the viewers potentially being lost or just flat out not interested in really what's being interested in the story and to keep on reading from there. Quite a few people read the first few pages, then drop off without subscribing. There are some other factors I think that could be causing this, other than just people just like who truly just would never be interested in what we have going on, which is totally completely okay. Like, that is a factor that you have to add in. But you know, I think just judging by the stats that we have, I do think there's enough there that people just aren't latching onto it. And it will be interesting to experiment with that and to see if we can change those outcomes. But if you guys want to see a video on how I collect the stats from Webtoons, because Webtoons tracking of any stats is so crazy and not there, honestly, in the ways that they should be. Because, like, you know, it would be great, which I don't have these stats, obviously, but it'd be great to know, like, where the random traffic came from, right? Was it direct? Was it from another website? Like, I don't know. It would just be something, like, nice to have. But even then, like, their most basic read counts and stuff like that, they don't have immediately available for you, like day by day stats. So if you guys want to learn how I keep track of all of that, let me know down in the comments below. I will be happy to make that video if there's interest there. Anyways, moving on. All of that being said, we're just going to go ahead and delete it, or rather, you know, replacing it with a hopefully much better beginning sequence. We came together and talked through some of those potentials and decided to try this first and see if there would be a difference in reader retention. Lena got to work immediately at crafting something up that better places the reader into the actual landscape of the current events of Mutanter, which is the overall continent that the world takes place in. It's basically going to be a lead up to Camlorn, the main protagonist that you see in Chapter 1. It's basically a lead up to him in the tavern that actually establishes some motives and some prior happenings, if you will. And it brings in even more important characters immediately into the fray. This is all up in the air. We have no idea, right? This is all an assumption that we're making by looking at the stats, but also, you know, reading it and trying to, like, view it from a reader's perspective. If you all have read it and you feel differently or you feel the same, again, please leave a comment down below and let me know what you all think about that. Because, you know, maybe people are actually really interested in it, but maybe the episodes on Webtoons are too short because, as y'all know, I'm working as like on a page by page basis. And so what happens is the Webtoons end up being really short because of that. So Yeah, let me know down in the comments below if you've read it, how, like, just give me your thoughts. I am super curious about that, because who knows, maybe we're just flat out wrong and y'all actually do love the um super mysterious, ethereal, just getting thrown right in and not having any clue of what's going on. Let me know. It is a webcomic trap to go back and start over, into oblivion. And maybe we are falling into that trap a little bit, but we both think it's necessary, so we're gonna go for it, and hoping that it helps a little bit. Again, I'm going to report on my findings about all of that. So now, moving on to a art related topic that has been plaguing me, and it's all my fault because I'm not great at doing this, but I really wish that I had concepted the settings, the immediate settings of the story out in advance. So, I'm running into a few problems as an artist in this category, and a lot of this boils down to lack of experience and direction. But I wish I would have created a more specific concept sheet for the locations that the characters were going to be in immediately. So the big wibbly wobbly ethereal place in the prologue, I kind of wish that I would have plotted out, what that would be a little bit better. Granted, that's a whole lot easier to deal with than, let's say, dealing with a city street, a tavern. That gave me such problems. I did my best at filling out where I wanted things to go. But y'all. Let me get back on script. For later pages, I kind of solved this a tad bit. But let me tell you, those first settings are super iffy at best. The settings of Mutanter have roots and are very deliberate. But as an artist, I have never really practiced backgrounds and settings. It is for sure a weak spot for me. World building for me has always been vibes-based character drawing / paintings. So when it came time to doing the backgrounds, I've been struggling on getting everything to look like how I want it to look. Initially, I spent a lot of time learning, or trying to learn rather, how to draw buildings and make them look kind of like how I want them to look like. But I didn't spend enough time concepting out the specific locations. For Araka, for instance, it is a not a city, it's a country. They're in Torn Araka in the very beginning, which is a city that was controlled by the Imperium for quite a long time until it was eventually upheaved. And so there needs to be similarities between the Imperium side of the world and the Orakan side of the world. But getting those two things to mish and mash were kind of my priority, which I still didn't excel at. It's still nowhere near how I want it or how I envision it, right? But the very granular specific locations themselves, I truly wish that I would have spent more time on constructing, because Nook and Cranny, which is the name of the tavern, it's not there. It's wibbly wobbly. If you focus too hard on it, the setting kind of shifts and changes. And yeah, and you can tell that I'm experimenting while I'm creating the pages of how do I want this area to look? How do I want it constructed? How much of it can I bury underneath a crowd of people, and haphazardly even? So yeah, that's been a super struggle of mine, and I'm doing my best to learn from my mistakes and improve on that, which I have started to, like I said before. again, it's like anything else, and it's like one thing that I really like about comics is you get to see the growth of the artists as they progress through the learning process as they're going. So it's definitely been that. But on to the last thing that I wanted to talk about today, and to me this is just something that I can't really change. I don't really want to change, but looking back, I kind of wish I would have started off differently. And that is to say that I really wish that I would have just went ahead and started creating all of this in the Webtoon scroll format. Again, like I said before, we're running this as a page by page kind of situation, and then I convert them into the Webtoon scroll, where basically one page is equal to one episode in that. All right, so I only feel this way because the major traffic is coming from Webtoons and uploading those every week. And so, it definitely feels like I should be catering a little bit more to Webtoons because of that. Now, I should have known this initially. Well, I did know it initially. Another part of it is I also worry that that the episodes themselves are too short to really keep the reader's attention. I don't know. I've talked to people about this at conventions and stuff like that, and they seem to not be bothered by that. But I can't tell. You know what I mean? Because I'm kind of like a middle kind of person. I don't like short episodes, but I don't like extremely long episodes either. I feel good like when I'm scrolling, but then I also like to be rewarded with the next page, like click over kind of situation. So I don't know. Like, here's another thing that you can leave in the comments. Let me know how you feel about short episodes on Webtoons, and if you are dissuaded from reading if they are too short or not, or too long. I am curious about that as well. But the problem, and like the big reason why I can't really switch, is I don't have the speed required to be able to keep up with the Webtoons pace. So we're not going to be switching to that mode anytime soon, if ever, because it's also easier to upload page by page on Patreon as well versus the Webtoon scroll situation. The point of this little section, honestly, is just to kind of like air my grievances with I wish I could make the Webtoons format work so that I could do that and provide everyone with a little bit longer episodes. But until I'm able to really figure all of that out, we're keeping it as it is. But speaking of Patreon, I have to shamelessly plug my Patreon in this here video. So without further ado, here we go. If you guys like bonus content or monthly polls or advanced comic pages before anybody else gets to read them on the other sites like Webtoons, or if you like spicy art, if you know what I mean, feel free to go and click on the link down below to the Patreon. And if you're interested, definitely sign up. Go on ahead. We have a $5 tier that is the comic stuff plus bonus content. Also, sometime soon, maybe some secret project content as well. And then we also have a $10 tier that is the spicy tier. Every week you'll get at least one spicy artwork. Oftentimes, I'll throw in an extra little sketch or something here and there that I've got cooking up to show y'all. Eventually there's going to be a spicy comic on there as well. We're working out the details and the pacing and stuff, because like I said before, it's all about time. Time is such a wibbly wobbly soup, and it escapes me so frequently, but we'll see. We'll get there. We're going to get there. But yeah, anyways, join the Patreon if you want to, and moving on. All right. the last little bit, and just kind of like a little caveat I want to give is for not only for myself, but for any of y'all reading. Oh my lord. Any of you guys listening in to this and trying to figure out your best approach for creating / posting a webtoon is, while there are ways to start you off on a better foot, you really don't know where your feet are going to land until you actually jump. That is to say, create the work and share it with others and see what others have to say and how they interact with your comic. We can spend hours redoing and honing everything in, looking up tutorials, trying to get better, trying to make it better, but nothing beats actually putting the pen to the paper and posting it to find out. Definitely do all these things that, that will make it as good as you want it to be, but don't get hung up on it so that you never actually share your story with the world. Yeah. That's why it's really fun and a great practice to intermittently go back and review where you started and where you're going, what you can change, what you shouldn't change, and how to improve how you do things for pages and projects down the road. So, yep, I think that's good enough for now for this. Hopefully I articulated my points correctly. That's been a big struggle for me with these videos. I feel like it's kind of hard to put everything in nice and concisely and to the point, but also make it make sense and to try and add a little bit of nuance in there as well. But yeah, hopefully you find this beneficial, whether it was entertaining to you or maybe it helps you figure out a direction for you to go in your webcomic or in your webtoon. So if you liked this video, go on ahead and leave one of those big old beautiful thumbs up down there. It helps the algorithm. You guys know all about that. The algorithm runs our lives, ain't that correct? But then if you want to keep seeing more content like this, go on ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me. And yeah, if you haven't, again, go check out and read Cycles. Let me know all the comments down below, what y'all are feeling, what y'all are thinking, and all of that fun stuff. And I'll catch you all on the next video. Until next time, stay cool. Is the title clickbaity enough? I don't know, but maybe it is. I don't know.